She allegedly told her children they were in for a special night, a sleepover in the car, complete with popcorn. But prosecutors say something far more sinister was allegedly unfolding in the mind of their mom. And now this mom is accused of taking extreme steps to allegedly poison her
She told her boys it was going to be a special night, popcorn, a sleepover in the car, and 3 children, ages 4 and 2, believed her. Because she was their mother, and that trust, that absolute unconditional trust, is exactly what prosecutors say she weaponized.
This is a really, really tough story. Especially when you look at the social media that we found for the defendant in this case, a mom who the day before, she allegedly tried to take the lives of her 3 children by poisoning them with carbon monoxide. She shared a post about how someone can feel unwanted in their marriage or relationship by their partner.
Here is the visual that will stay with you for the rest of this video, a tube running from an exhaust pipe into the interior of a sealed car. Purchased on Amazon, assembled in an attached garage. That isn't a spontaneous act. That is an engineered decision.
Charges. When police searched her house, they also found an alleged apparatus. And it was some sort of apparatus that connected the exhaust pipe of a vehicle in an attached garage to the inside of the car.
And so she researched that. She jumped on Amazon, purchased some items to connect to her car. And we did find, in fact, an apparatus that was attached to her exhaust pipe that led a tube into the interior of the vehicle, which then, again, she told the kids that they were going to have a sleepover, jumped in the car. We're not sure exactly how long they were in the car before she turned it on. And we're not sure how long she stayed in the car.
And the children sitting inside that car had no idea what the apparatus beneath them was designed to do. Before we go deeper into what the evidence actually shows, make sure you're subscribed to CrimeNest Media, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the facts. Chardonnay Marie Benvitz had sole custody of her 3 sons following a 2024 divorce. By every public account available, social media posts, statements from the children's father, she appeared devoted to those boys.
Chardonnay Marie Benavidez, she posted a lot on social media, and she did post about having challenges in her life, the struggle of mental health, the struggle of relationship. She was divorced, which we will talk about here in just a moment. But she also talked a lot about how much she loved her children and how much she loved being a mom. And it makes what she is accused of doing very difficult to comprehend, especially when you see a video like this one of her and her 3 children at home. She has twin 2-year-olds and a 4-year-old, all boys. And she often talked about in her post that she was a boy mom and proud of it. Now, the caption of this video was, quote, "The best thing about me is these 3. I'm so lucky to have been chosen to be their mama." She posted that on April 20th.
She posted about them constantly. She called them the best thing about her. And then, according to court records and statements made by law enforcement, she began searching online for methods of death that would not cause
could
pain.
Potentially happen. Prosecutors say it was just days after that post that she started to come up with a plan to allegedly take the lives of those 3 boys.
So it's our understanding that she used Google or some type of search engine to research suicide that did not incur pain, per se, something that would allow them to just peacefully fall asleep and never...
Something that would let them fall asleep and never wake up. She was not in a sudden spiral. She was researching, planning, purchasing. She wasn't going to allow him to have the children. That phrase, her own alleged words to investigators, is the axis on which this entire case turns, because it reframes everything. The custody arrangement, the social media posts, the sleepover story. All of it becomes something else when you hold it against that single admission. According to law enforcement statements, she had been planning this for approximately 1 week.
Next part of this story, and all of it is so emotional and difficult, but this part really hit me in the heart.
So the mother had pre-planned this within the preceding week. They were going to have a what she called a sleepover event or a party in the car. So she and her 3 boys, 2 were age 2, they're twins, and a 4-year-old boy, went into the car. We don't know exactly how long they were in the car before she turned the vehicle system on, but we did find baby wipes and popcorn and items inside the car, which corresponded with her story that she was going to have a sleepover, and that was her way of getting the children into the car initially. So they were
In that
initially
same week, she donated or sold the majority of her household belongings. When the children's father went to her home afterward, he described it as stripped bare.
Quote, "She was such a great bleeping mother. I went to the hospital. They wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't give me no information. I ended up getting detained because I was like, dude, those are my kids back there. I'm bleeping going in." He said that Chardonnay had tried to harm herself in the past, but he didn't think that the kids could ever allegedly be involved in something like this. He also said that she did make comments about hurting herself in the past too, but to that he said, quote, "She said it a few times, but I mean, we all
She had already begun erasing her presence from the material world.
in a moment." But there's also another major red flag that this dad apparently discovered when he went to her home. The dad went to Chardonnay's house to get the children clothes, but when he got there, everything was gone, according to KOIN.
Yeah, a lot of the belongings were either sold or given away to family members or friends in anticipation of her not needing those physical items in the future. And so, yes, I can confirm that the house was fairly bare.
He said, quote, "The house was stripped."
Now here is the question that turns this from a headline into something far more unsettling. At what point did she stop being a mother in crisis and become a woman executing a plan? And is that line even something the legal system is equipped to draw?
To weigh in, and even they're not perfect, but to answer your question succinctly, it's very, very hard to convince a judge to make a change preemptively because, someone who used to be married to her is now saying she's crazy and she's going to harm the children because, nobody really thinks that their ex is perfectly normal.
No, and I'm sure you even see that in cases that could be considered like an amicable, divorce. There's obviously still emotion on all sides of it.
She wasn't going to allow him to have the children.
Why? Because that's something that's going to have to come from her ultimately, in her own hindsight and thinking back and reflecting. She did tell officers and investigators that she was not happy with her life and that she didn't want to leave the children to the father because she was displeased with him, didn't feel that he deserved to have the children, didn't feel that he would take care of them. She didn't give any specifics, but said that he had placed them in dangerous situations in the past, whatever that means. So she was not happy with his parenting style, and ultimately she wasn't happy with her life and wasn't going to allow him to have the kids. And so, that's what we know at this point. Whether that was her true motive, whatever, we just don't know.
On June 6th, when the boys began showing signs of distress inside that vehicle, she brought them back into the house. She called 911 herself. She told responding officers exactly what she had done and why. According to public records from the Keizer Oregon Police Department, the children were found going in and out of consciousness. First responders could not immediately enter the home due to carbon monoxide levels. All 3 boys survived. Chardonnay was taken to the hospital and subsequently arrested. She is now facing 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder and is being held without bond. A family law attorney reviewing cases of this nature has noted publicly that a premeditated act with a confession, physical evidence, and surviving victims creates a nearly airtight prosecutorial foundation. The defense's realistic path, legal analysts suggest, runs through sentencing mitigation, not acquittal.
Allegedly very premeditated.
Right. I think you have the elements of murder, right? You have premeditation. She took some steps to plan it. It wasn't spur of the moment. There wasn't anything that provoked her. So certainly the legal basis for proving a murder case are there. So the prosecution has to worry that the defense is going to try to create some sympathy with the jury. There's definitely a mental health component of it. Everyone sees that. It's clear as can be. So proving that she did it when she basically confessed to it, planned it, and the victims are so innocent, those are all the things the state has. What the defense has is she's got to have some mental illness, some mental health issues. I don't think it's a insanity defense because she certainly seemed to know what she was doing. She planned it. She told the kids that we're going to have a sleepover. So the only thing that she really has going for her is what we have in a lot of the cases that we see, Chris, which is who can believe that a mom would really do this to her children? But this isn't one where the evidence is unclear or fuzzy or, you can't see what happened. She did this. It's going to sort of be like some similar cases that are in the news where the focus for the defense lawyers is going to be on the sentencing more than on the conviction, because she's getting convicted. The question is, can they get a good plea for her? Can they get her into a treatment facility to avoid jail for a while? What can they do? Because if she goes to court on a trial for murder,
She wasn't going to allow him to have the children. 3 words that carry the entire weight of a motive, whether they reflect a woman in profound psychological collapse or a deliberate choice dressed in the language of maternal control. That is now a question for a jury. The Keizer Oregon Police Department has released public statements on this case, and court filings are expected to become part of the public record ahead of the June 17th hearing. We encourage you to look at those documents directly and ask yourself one question in the comments below. Where does the system's responsibility to intervene begin, and where does it end? If this case raises something in you.
One thing that I don't know that we didn't ask her, and we may not get an opportunity to ask her, we understand that she was seeing counselors for depression. But when people have suicidal thoughts or are in crisis, there is a nationwide number. It's 988. It's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number. It's a free service. You talk to trained counselors. They help you walk through your feelings. They offer emotional support. They try to navigate what you're going through. And
something worth thinking through with someone trained to help. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available by call or text any hour. If you found this analysis valuable, subscribe to CrimeNest Media, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who follows cases like this one. We'll be back when the next hearing concludes.